Hi everybody and welcome to another episode of Crack of Dawn. With me I have the new additions to our coaching staff in form of our interns. Now you would know some of these coaches already, but they've all been on the floor at Dawn for the last couple of months. Before we start, I'm just going to pass the mic over to each one to introduce themselves to you so that you know what to call them next time you see them in the class.
Hello, I'm Samira.
I'm Klaudia.
And I'm JP.
And JP stands for?
John Paul.
John Paul. Guys, don't get posher than that. So, without any further ado, we're going to start, guys. This whole episode is really just to get to know our coaches, see what they're up to, how they found CrossFit firstly, and then Dawn, and what we can expect from them in the future in and around Dawn. Samira, firstly, obviously you're almost getting to the end of your internship, almost ready to kind of start coaching for us. Why don't we just start with how did you find CrossFit? How did you find us at Dawn?
Yeah.
And yeah, just a bit of a backstory.
Cool. So my CrossFit journey actually didn't start in the UK. It started in Jordan. And I was studying Arabic abroad for a year, and my classmate said to me, hey, you used to go to the gym, right? Let's go check out some CrossFit. And at that time I had no idea what it was, so I was like, cool, let's go and check it out. And we did one class and I was completely hooked. I was like, right, when I get back to London, I'm going to find a CrossFit box. And I did, and I started Googling prices, and the difference between the prices in Jordan and the prices in London, I was like, okay, am I willing to invest this money into it? And I did. That was how I got started. Probably, so it was 2014 that I first did my classes in Jordan, and then when I came over to the UK, back to the UK, I think I officially probably started around 2015-16, so probably been doing CrossFit 5 to 6 years, I would say, in the UK.
And how long were you doing it in Jordan for before you came over? Was this just a couple of sessions, or did you do that for about a year or so?
No, really, unfortunately, it was towards the end of my stay at Jordan, so I did it for about maybe a week or two. And that was enough for me to be like, and actually it was a female coach there and some male coaches as well, but the female coach was doing toes to bar and she was so badass. I was like, yeah, I want to be like that. Yeah.
Excellent.
So
excellent.
Yeah, that was
so you've been doing CrossFit now, since 2014?
2014 for 2 weeks, took a break, and then officially when I signed up again, it was around, I think, 2015-16.
16. Okay, so that's been quite a while.
Yeah.
Now, how have you found your journey so far into CrossFit?
Really interesting, actually. So I thought I was doing fitness in the gym. I was going to a standard gym and kind of just doing leg raises, doing rowing, a lot around just trying to be skinny.
Yeah.
And
lots of cardio.
Lots of cardio, yeah, exactly. So I was weak, really, really weak. And then when I came into the CrossFit gym, so I started at Royal Docks, my coach was like, right, you need to just be on the training bar immediately. So I couldn't even lift like the 15 kg female bar when I first started. And I remember my first session had push presses overhead. So I was like using the training bar and just felt super weak, and I could see all these like super fit women around me and men, and I was just like, I want to get stronger. And you know, as time went on, my goal shifted from trying to be skinny and lean and whatnot to actually it's about performance and longevity, and I want to do this for as long as I can. So that was an interesting shift in my own mindset to be like, actually, that this is not what it's about. It's about fitness. And it was nice to be in an environment when everyone was doing that. Everyone wanted to be fit and strong. So
Did you join Royal Docks quite early on when it opened? It was at the start of Docks as well. So it's like a newfound community all growing together.
Exactly. So I started, probably there was a wave of people just before me, and now some of the oldest members, there's probably like 1 or 2 left. So one of the earliest members.
Still hanging in.
Excellent.
Excellent. Klaudia, your story. How did you find CrossFit? What kind of fitness did you do before CrossFit, leading into it? How did you find it, and where you at?
First time I heard about CrossFit or saw CrossFit, it was back home quite a while ago. I used to cycle past CrossFit box, and it had really similar vibe to our box. Like it was like old garage. There was like the ropes, like people just running in there, like next, like by the road, basically. Like you could see them working out every time, and I just like saw it, and I was like, oh my gosh, it looks so cool. Like especially with the old garage vibe, I really liked it.
Yeah.
But I've never joined CrossFit back home, so my friend got me into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I was doing for few months back home before I moved to UK. When I moved in here, like I was thinking maybe I'll get back to jiu-jitsu, but was never had time or couldn't like think about it. I started going to the gym through my cousin, got a membership at Virgin, so it was like really nice going there, like having those white towels, white fluffy towels everywhere. Like it's just like, oh, this is nice,
warm gyms,
jacuzzi after the session and stuff. But eventually it wore off, and I was just going there and like looking on the treadmill, and I was like, I just can't keep doing this. Like I just I got bored. I didn't know, like I had some programming, I was doing some powerlifting kind of workouts, a bit of cardio, but like eventually it's just like I just got bored, stopped going at all. My membership finished, and I was for a few months I was like doing completely nothing. Like I tried some running, but I was just like not feeling it. So eventually I was like, okay, so maybe let's try this CrossFit thing I've seen a few years ago. Maybe this is gonna be thing I'll enjoy and like I'll stick to for longer. And I found Dawn on, basically I googled CrossFit near me. I lived in Leighton at the time. I was just like, okay, like this looks good. Like I've seen like different boxes around. I was just like, oh, let's try this one. It was literally the first one I tried, and I came in for like I texted Arend, and he like, hey, come in for the session. And I was just like, yeah, okay. I came in, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like I like the space and everything. It looked great, and
you joined us when we were already here.
Yes, yes. Okay, I literally joined like I think a couple months after you moved in here. So that was July 2018. So it's gonna be 4 years soon.
Crazy, right?
Time runs like goes past like. But it was great. Like the first session, I remember I couldn't run 2 laps. I had to walk like everyone else, like behind there. I was like, oh my gosh, I hope nobody sees me. And same like wall balls. Oh my gosh, I remember. I think it was Joe who was trying to teach me wall balls, and I was just like, what is this movement? Even like, why
do I even need this? Why would I?
Yeah, but it's just like I wanted to, but like I was trying hard, but it was just like it was not going anywhere. Like I just like couldn't coordinate the movement, like the throwing and the squat. I was just like, oh, it's too much. So it's been like good for years, almost 4 years. I did some windsurfing back home. I do snowboarding when there's a season, but that's just like that's basically my fitness journey in those few sentences.
Excellent.
Yeah.
JP.
Hello.
How did you find CrossFit? What did you do before CrossFit? And how did you find Dawn?
So I've known of CrossFit for quite a long time. Like, you know, like Rich Froning era, when he was like an individual athlete. I used to watch all the time on YouTube, and it's like these are jacked men that looks amazing. But I played rugby, you know, since I was like 8 to like 19. And I started that like gym mentality where kipping pull-ups are, you know, like what are these, and some of these movements like
not real pull-ups.
Yeah, they're not real like gym movements. Like, but then I went to uni, completely stopped rugby. Did like a few sports here and there, like a bit of running, some American football, and then some track and climbing. But my commitment was so low. I'd do stuff like a month and then I'd stop. So my fitness, especially from playing rugby 7-8 times a week, it just plummeted so bad. And then like walking up the stairs getting tired. So I was like, I needed something to really like just kick my bum and get me back into fitness. And then I knew a member here and she introduced me, and she was like, speak to Jackie. So I spoke to Jackie, did my first session. I remember it. I think that's the session I think I'll never forget. It was with Ali. She was my coach. She was the coach. It was a 1K row, 50 thrusters, and like 30 burpees.
What a first workout.
Honestly, I got to like 30 thrusters, and Ali was like, just move on. Like, get to the burpees. Like, I was doing like 2 reps and stopping for like 30 seconds. Like, I was blown.
Yeah.
But it was 100% what I needed.
Yeah.
Like, it totally destroyed me, and I was like, I think if I'd done like a workout where I was like, oh, okay, that was fine, you know.
Yeah.
That wasn't what I wanted. I needed something to really push me.
Yeah. Understanding and actually realizing how bad you were was the catalyst for you to really kind of sink your teeth into and go like, what, this is what I want.
And like, I'm going to see improvement doing this, and I'm going to improve, and I just got really bored of the normal gym life, you know, sticking headphones in, not speaking to anyone, and just going about the session. I found that really boring at the end, so I loved that. And then even Jackie, we sat with each other for like 2 hours in West Ham Park while I was just like crying and like complaining how much in pain I was. But she sat with me for the entire 2 hours, and then we walked home and we saw you on the way back. So and past from that, I just love coming here. And,
And that was like, remind me, did you join when we were outside still?
Yeah.
Or,
I think I'm the newest to CrossFit here in terms of the interns.
Yes.
Because I joined at the start of the end of the first lockdown.
Yes.
So we've been like maybe May 2020.
That's
and then we were in and out of lockdowns, back and forth.
God,
so
what a great time to start. Right?
I know. But I think maybe like consistently, maybe a year now.
Yeah.
Like post lockdown.
Yeah.
I think it's been maybe a year. So
And still enjoying it?
Yeah, I still love it.
Still a challenge?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Like so many movements I'm still trying to get.
Yeah.
Double unders are always my nightmare. Pistols and working on handstands. But it's good because you always have something to get better at and strive towards. And because if I was like injuring my knee, I'm just doing gymnastics now. But I really want to get back to the classes because I really want to do weightlifting again. And I think like the constant change of pace in CrossFit is what keeps me wanting to come back and like keep doing it more.
Excellent stuff. I think I'm going to have you hold on to the microphone, if that's okay, and just ask you, actually before I ask you this, just for the members, so it's always amazing to hear coaches or potential coaches and interns still talking about trying to get their double unders, okay? And with JP, if you've seen JP, he can swing off all the rings and the bars in this place, but it's the double unders that trips you up, right? If you still struggle with basic movements like double unders, please make sure to book your goal review with a coach. And even if it's an intern, sit down and just plot what you want to achieve, how you want to get it done, and we can actually really help. You're just giving you a little bit of homework to do at home to help your double unders. If that's not something that's happening for you, if you go like, I genuinely just can't get this, then also remember that we do have those 30-minute skill sessions that's super valuable, where we just focus on that one little skill for you, like a double under, and just really hammer it in for you. Starting now, you've been obviously interning for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And then now shadowing James. If you had to tell us just a little bit like how are you finding the process in itself? What do you think is what comes easily for you, or what is harder than you thought it would be?
Yeah.
And just your general experience of the intern program.
I think been the whole like going for uni, like learning, because we're using the level 1 booklet as our basis of the knowledge of what we need to pass on and how we grow as coaches, and learning that isn't very difficult. Like the knowledge itself is not very difficult, but then trying to apply that to actually trying to coach somebody is a whole different ball game. It's like you can be book smart and learn all the sheet all you want, but then applying that with a person in front of you and learning how to probably communicate with that person, and because one cue for one member won't work, and you have to use a completely different cue. So it's been quite reactive in that way, and that's why, because we do a lot of sessions with James, where we just spend half an hour, we've done some together as well, and then we will teach him one of the foundational movements, and it's such a different challenge to actually teach him, especially because he's such an incredible athlete. Picking out the tiniest little mistakes that he might do in his movements is a big challenge, but it's a lot of fun.
How intimidating is it actually having to coach a coach, right? And having that moment of like just standing in front of them and go like, do I now? Am I going to do this?
And he puts you on the spot asking like, what do you see wrong? And you're like, like looks pretty good, not a lot. But it comes with experience. And
absolutely.
The more we do that, the more we'll get better, and the better we'll spot stuff as well. And we'll grow as coaches.
Yeah, absolutely. Klaudia, how about you?
So pretty similar to JP, I think. Like I know the movements. I can like perform them myself. I know the theory of it. But then like someone stands in front of me, and I'm just like, what do I say now? Like, how do I put this? Like, I know how to show it, maybe how to demo the movement, but like putting it in words that they will understand, that's like a whole different level. That's what I think, like the internship, the shadowing James, the session with JP, it's really helpful. It's essential basically to learn to be on the other side of CrossFit basically. So
you're our newest joiner onto the intern program.
Yes.
How are you feeling about making the transition from a member? So, people that you used to hang out with and just kind of like high five during a workout, and now you're on the other side having to actually cue them and and act almost out of a position of authority. How do you deal with that?
It's actually pretty alright. Like, to be fair, like I say, like I'm a bit in like good position, because some members they would come to me before asking for an advice or asking for a cue or something, even like in the open gym or like in the class before the class, they would comment like, Klaudia, how did the weight? What are you doing for the weight? What should I do? Like I had people asking me this, like even Hannah the other day when James was introducing me in the beginning of the class, like, Klaudia, this is Klaudia. She's gonna be like the intern. She's gonna watch you and tell you what to do. And Hannah said like, oh, we've already done this before. So it's actually like it feels alright. Like people are super supportive and like super encouraging. Everyone tells me like, oh, it's so good for you. Like you're gonna do great. Like you're doing great already. Like so. Even in the early stage, like when there's already people like telling me like, oh, this is like so nice to have you, or like people telling me, oh, so much, like thank you so much for the cue, like it really helped. It was like it really like builds me up. Oh, right? I'm really like, oh, this feels so great. Like I love. It's so satisfying. Like when you give a cue or like a small thing from like my own experience of like from like theory. I know like I'll give them this one thing and they like, oh, they got the lift or they got the movement or something. It's like it feels so great. Like I might be like a bit egoistic, but like I'm so happy for them and it makes me happy. I'm so like, oh my gosh, they got it. Like it worked. Like
that's massively important for us is understanding that there is this. If you can't be a coach and not have empathy, right? You can't have be a coach and not have the compassion and that kind of like getting emotional for somebody else's success, which is I think that's something that we really are pushing more, especially in Dawn. I can say that because it's our gym, but I always felt that was the one thing that set Dawn aside from most other CrossFits is that we really super get excited when other people get success, and it just kind of like it's that underlining that we truly rise by lifting others. By us really getting other people to be successful makes us successful in a sense, because it also inspires us to become better coaches, better cues. Like if this little cue just helped this person, like what else can I do with my knowledge and with my my ability?
And like even like being on the other side now, I'm still friends with those people. Like it's not like I'm suddenly like above them or something. I still want to be on the same level. I still train with them. I'm still gonna be like suffering with them. I still want to be a friend they can come up to and ask for an advice, or like we can train together or something. So great. That's great about this place as well, the community. And
I think it's also doesn't always happen this way, but the fact that you've been with us for so long and people's actually seen you grow over the years and seen your success, it was quite aspirational for other people. So it's kind of like it's almost like a very natural next step that people almost expect to see you in a coaching position. So that's super awesome. We're just super happy to have you on board.
Thank you.
Samira, so for you now, what would you say was your good moments where you go like, oh yeah, this is absolutely me? Because I know we all know that you're a teacher anyway, so you already teach people, right? You're already kind of in the rhythm of actually, teaching and coaching. But what was moments where you go like, this is amazing, and what was moments where you go like, oh, hang on, this is not as easy as I perhaps thought it would be?
Yeah, well, touching on that actually, I think the parts that came easy to me was the parts that we're teaching, because the skills are very similar. So like organizing a class, kind of communication, empathy. I know that's not necessarily a skill that is just natural, but it is something, again, most teachers would go into teaching because they have empathy, and they want people to do well and kind of pass those experiences on. So those things came easy to me in the sense that, okay, so these are actually really very parallel skills that you can just take on from being a teacher. So any teachers who want to come into coaching, that's a positive. I think where I found it a little bit difficult is going from, similar to what JP was saying, going from coaching James, which is already super tough. I had to coach him on an air squat, and I was just like, okay. And then going into a classroom environment and coaching, and just being able to see 12 people do things differently. So like you're almost like, okay, so I can see that, I'm going to cue that, but sometimes you don't see things as well. But you can see, like you might see it, or James might see it, and you're just like, that's experience again. Like JP was talking about, the more you coach, the more you're like, actually that athlete I know has got an issue with like their squat, so I can always be like depth. But you don't initially always see that. And I think for me, that's where more coaching and more experience is obviously going to help out, and just those little minor gains, especially particularly like I find it easier when I'm coaching and I know that someone can't squat. That's a big thing that you can coach, or someone can't reach the line on a wall ball. That's something simple that you can be like, a bit more of a push from your squat and get out there. But then if they didn't open their hips a tiny bit, or they didn't,
more of the nuance, kind of
the
like
nuances,
the nuances,
exactly. And that's what I'm looking for now. Just trying to be obviously be a better coach. Those nuances are always going to be really, really important.
What made you want to be an intern/coach? What made you actually go like, oh, you know what? I think I'm actually cut out to be a coach. What was that kind of initial thought, and just the experience of actually getting to us, and just tell us more about that.
That's a good question. I didn't actually think I was going to go down the coaching route. For me, I knew that I was taking a little bit of a step back from teaching, because I was a bit of a crossroads with what I wanted to do next. So I'm a head of department at my school. The next natural progression would be like an assistant head teacher. But for me, I knew that I didn't necessarily want to go that deep into education.
More hours.
Exactly.
Harder
more
work.
admin, more kind of like bureaucracy and stuff like
Less time face to face with.
Exactly. So that's not the step I want to go into. So why don't you take a step back and figure out what's next and see if you can do other stuff outside of teaching. And I knew that I wanted to focus more on just being a better athlete. And then I actually went down to 4 days a week. And Jackie, and this is why I think it's fate, messaged me and was like, have you ever been interested in, maybe being an intern for CrossFit? And I was like, funny you say that, because I'm going down to 4 days a week next week. So it's definitely...
It's like the stars just aligned.
Exactly, the stars aligned. And I was like, this is interesting actually, because this is again, a natural route because it's teaching. When Jackie planted the seed, then I thought about it for a little bit, and I was like, I spoke to a few people who were like, yeah, dude, do it. You're going to crush it. And then I had my meeting with you, and that's when I was like, yeah, this is definitely something I want to pursue. So here I am doing it.
Excellent, excellent. Klaudia, how about you? What made the jump? Without trying to get too emotional.
Okay. It was actually, I've been thinking about it for a while. It's been like quite a while, like at least few months to a year. I've been thinking maybe it's like, even maybe before pandemic, I had like sometimes thoughts like, oh, how it would be like to be a coach. Like, is it like, it's not a bad life. It's actually like satisfying, cool job. And
it looks great in the summer. And then in the winter we're all standing out like
6 a.m. and you're just like, 3 coats on you.
Very romantic when it's dark and cold. And
I don't really mind those 6 a.m.s, anyway. It's actually fun. It's been in my head, like somewhere.
And we've had some conversations about it.
Yes,
a while ago.
A while ago last year we had this conversation. I was like, I'm kind of like stuck in my job when there is no progression there whatsoever, and it's just a basic office job. It's really like nothing, not my thing at all. Like I can't like my back is suffering, my eyes are suffering from just sitting in front of the computer for hours on end. It's just like, it's not my thing. Like, I don't enjoy it at all. No offense to anyone who loves it. Like, you know, there are people who are like, they can just do it like, easily. I'm not this kind of person. I like being on my feet. I like coming to, like, seeing different people, like, physically active in my job. So I thought like maybe, there was like this moment over a month ago when I finally had my moment when I just couldn't anymore. I still work. I still do my job. It's fine. It's like it's a good job with like I have nice team and everything.
So that was kind of the linchpin. That was the thing that just went like, actually, I really now need to start taking action and go and chase my dreams.
Yes, I was just like, I was thinking like in the past, I was like, maybe it's too late to change careers, but like there's people like telling me like it's never too late. It's never too late. So I thought like and we spoke and we actually like put this into plan, because otherwise it was just like me daydreaming about it, and just like there was no action. I was just looking at like CrossFit website, just thinking, oh, maybe this is like this, maybe I should, you know, but like thanks to you, like you came and you were just like, okay, so like let's do it. And Jenny was like the first person who like heard me out and helped me with this decision as well. So
kind of ushered you like, what do you actually want?
Just do something with your life. So satisfying helping other people. Like this is one of the things I lack in life. It's just helping others. This is big for me. I find it really like satisfying. I used to tutor kids back home with maths and English mostly, and it was so satisfying seeing them like grow and like and learning stuff and actually like succeeding in this. That was so good. So like I was just like, I missed it.
It's a good drug. It's a good drug to have, right?
Yes.
JP, what made you decide to try to become an intern? And
So like, I'm basically stealing both answers. But yeah, so it kind of started out, because I think I'm kind of known for more my gymnastic strength, as you said. So I get a lot of the time, especially after the Open, the muscle-up workout, people always like, show me how to do a muscle-up, I teach it. And it's such a buzz when you can see someone improve from like kipping to chest to balls, that muscle-ups, or even just not even say they have a few muscle-ups, but just a little bit more tweaking. They can string together 5 to 10. That's something they've not done. And it's such a buzz. And you let me do a surge class at one point. I helped you out there, and the buzz from that was unreal. I think that just kind of clawed me, and I was like, okay, this is pretty fun. This is pretty cool. And then I was in a similar situation to Samira. I was in a point where just considering career options. At the perfect time, you came to me and were like, oh, we've got this intern thing coming up. Are you interested? And it all like snowballed into one. I was like, this is pretty cool. Like, it's pretty rare you find a job where you get a buzz from. Like, you generally feel like you're making a difference to people and you generally enjoy what you're doing. It's the unfortunate consequence of the rat race is that you don't always love what you do, and finding something that you genuinely enjoy. It's been good. It's been. I'm looking forward to properly getting into it.
Yeah, well, because you're due for your level 1 2 weeks time.
Yeah,
and then after that we start.
Yeah.
You start saying no to shifts when I'm bringing.
Yeah.
Hey, can you do the shift? Oh no, I can't because I've got a job. Oh, can you do this? Oh no, I'm busy. Then we'll start. But that's a whole different process, right?
We're not there yet.
Excellent stuff. So, I think it's going to be the last question for all of you. So, but really, just want you to kind of, and I'm sure you think about this. You know, in the evenings before you fall asleep, you daydream all day long. Like, what do you think your CrossFit career at Dawn will look like in the next 5 years? Where would you see yourself? It doesn't necessarily obviously be Dawn related, but just in CrossFit in general, where do you see yourself? Would you be more coach heavy? Would you be more of an athlete? Would you going to try and combine the two? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Truthful answer, I think for the first few years, I still have got a lot of improvement myself to do. Like, I still want to be an athlete myself and, do the double unders. So, like, I remember we did a skills session, we did a few for my ring muscle-ups, and they went on miles and bar muscle-ups, so I'm still working on myself as well. And then definitely coach on the side. So it'll be a balancing act between been able to improve my own CrossFit, and then also like using what I learned from working on myself and applying that to members as well. For me, it'll be a dual aspect of coaching, still loving it, just seeing where it goes, more seeing it as more like an organic growth, especially in the first early years. And so that's my plan.
Yeah. Excellent stuff. Yeah, and you've got a few more years in you. How old are you now?
26.
Yeah, 26. Yeah, you've got a handful of years still there to really throw at.
My body is not so sure, but we'll see.
Yeah. Excellent stuff. Klaudia, how about you? In 5 years' time, if you can have, we always talk in our goal reviews, our no sweats, we talk about genie wishes, fitness genie wishes. Imagine there was a fitness genie and you can ask them anything. So imagine there's a CrossFit career genie.
Going to the games.
Where would you like to be in 5
Maybe
years'
as a coach. So I definitely want to focus on coaching now. I definitely, in the next few months, at least a year, I want to progress to full-time coaching, CrossFit. So hopefully here, will be great. That's the next step for me. Like that's what I'm working towards, just to become a full-time coach and. Building my fitness at the same time, it's not going to be priority probably, but I'm still going to...
We're still CrossFitters, right? We still
I still want to improve myself. And now I'm focusing on becoming a coach, hopefully like progress as an athlete and get my like level 2 and just go up that ladder. That's the plan.
Might buy dawn from me in a few years' time. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I'll go and sit in Hawaii and just
and I'm just gonna
drink sangria all day long. It'll be great, huh? Let's make that work.
Silent partner.
Samira, how about you? What's the because you're already kind of like, we're going to step into this. You've already mentioned that you might take a second day off in a week. What's the next year going to look like for you, do you think?
More coaching, hopefully, for less days into teaching. So I'll be 3 days a week. Eventually 2, eventually 1. No, I don't know. I don't know what the eventual exit of teaching will be, but I am hoping to continue coaching. And again, similar to JP, just see it organically and see how it increases. I'd like to do more kind of skill courses as well. We spoke about this. Whilst the level 2 is going to be great as well, but just kind of focusing more on like maybe gymnastics and weightlifting, just to kind of build up my knowledge of being a better coach. I just think they go hand in hand, like being an athlete and being a coach. I think it's important to keep building ourselves up so that we're supposed to be inspiring people. So
absolutely. Yeah, great stuff. I think for us as well, just as a team, with the coaches that we have on board, and obviously with the new interns that we bring on board, it was always important for us that knowledge is key, and knowing your ins and outs. And this is why we still have to have a level 1 before we can coach. Knowledge is key for us. But I think the main underlining issue and the reason that we at Dawn decided on you guys, because you'll be surprised, there are people asking all the time if this is something that they can do, and we have to sometimes be kind of polite and and maybe this is not your time just yet. But the reason we actually hunt you guys out and really make these things happen is because we know that you care about people, and for us that's magic. That's our number 1 thing. Is like my coach years ago always said to me that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that's exactly what it is. It's like, just the fact that you are caring, and the fact that you might not know the answer, but you can say like, hey, I don't know the answer to this problem, but I care enough that I will go home and find out and come back to you with an answer, with a new skill set, and perhaps together we can actually succeed. Because that's when people genuinely know that you are invested in their success. And it's because of that we have actually decided to go with you guys. So we are super chuffed, super excited for the next few months and what that's going to bring for us with you guys in. And hopefully you will see more and more of these beautiful little faces on the floor helping you guys, and always be open. Teachable spirit for us is huge. If I'm open to be taught, then it'll make life easier for our coaches and our interns. And hopefully, as together, we can actually rise by lifting each other up. Guys, that was an amazing little session. Thank you so much. If you have any questions regarding our intern programs, or just any questions aimed at any of our coaches, make sure that you actually comment on this video below. We're happy to pass this on. We can take it actually onto Instagram and answer your questions. Anything that you might have for these coaches, feel free to just ask away. And don't forget to subscribe and like. Guys, have a great day and we'll see you soon. See how easy it is?
That was good.
Yeah, man, I am sweating. There was moments where I'm like,
Very nervous yourself.
yeah.
That felt really natural. Thank you.